This is we're going to talk a little bit about Iran, or like kind of related to Iran. This is going to be about the, I think, war powers vote. So apparently they were going to have a war powers resolution vote in order to, I think decide whether to fund the war, if I had to guess. Or no, it's war powers is about the authority. So we our current the way okay. The way that our government is supposed to work is that certain parts of the government, like the executive branch versus like Congress and the legislative branch or whatever, are supposed to have certain powers, right? And the legislative branch is supposed to be the one who decides whether we can go to war or not. That's how it is. So, or that's how our country was designed. It's not how it works anymore, though. Now it is the executive branch decides to go to war. And then, so technically the president is breaking the law. When the president decides to go to war without congressional approval, he is breaking the law. He should technically be thrown in jail, and prosecuted for breaking the law. However, that also doesn't happen. So the way that our government actually works now is the executive branch does whatever the fuck it wants. And then afterwards, the legislative branch comes in and says, but for real though, and they have a vote and they're like, this time actually for real though, you actually are breaking the law. And so we're actually going to pass a law that says you're breaking the law. And it's a completely and totally dysfunctional form of government. It makes no fucking sense. But anyway, that's what they're doing now. They're trying to pass a law to say the president is breaking the law. And so they're going to try to pass this war powers resolution to say that he's not allowed to go to war with Iran, which he isn't just constitutionally either. So let's see what's going on with this. I guess the Republicans may have canceled the war powers resolution vote or something. The title of this is Chicken Hawk Motherfucker. Dem Congressman goes off on GOP for canceling Iran war vote. So, we got some Democrat curse words. They're cursing. They must be really mad this time. Let's watch it.
These chicken hawk are going to send us home for Memorial Day weekend, where I'm going to honor my fellow veterans that I served 27 months in combat with, and they are going to not even give an up or down vote on continuing this war almost 3 months in, while Americans are paying almost $5 a gallon at the pump. It is pathetic. They use this procedural argument, and every American should just be absolutely outraged about this. It's a disgrace.
I will say this, weren't Democrats also avoiding taking a vote on whether to have the war or like the war powers vote? Didn't Democrats avoid taking that vote before it started? Am I wrong? I thought I remembered that the Democrats also they also ran away and avoided taking a vote on that before the war started, because they wanted the war to happen. That's my interpretation of it, at least, is that the Democrats also wanted this war to happen. And so I don't really, this seems like a little bit hypocritical that now all of a sudden they want to have all of these war powers resolution votes. Honestly, I don't think that I think that now the Democrats would be happy to vote against the war powers resolution just so long as the war is allowed to continue, because I do think Democratic Party leadership still wants the president and the executive branch to continue fighting this war, because like I said, the Democrats have a big pro-war part, and a Zionist part of their party as well, that this war, as everybody knows, it's not for America, it's for Israel. And there's a large segment of the Democratic Party as well that wants us to do the bidding of Israel in order to try to destroy Iran in some capacity. Maybe some of them, though, maybe some of those hawkish Democrats are even now starting, though, to realize that America isn't capable of defeating Iran. So they're like, oh, okay, well, then I guess we will vote to stop it, maybe. But I think that they would still like to leave it up, I don't think that they would actually want to force an end to the war through this. If I had to guess, though, the Democratic leadership, at least.
We need to get him on a podcast so we don't have to do all that bleeping. That was Democratic Congressman Pat Rein last night, visibly outraged, but didn't seem too surprised, because naturally, what do House Republican leaders do when they are afraid of being rebuked by members of their own party over Donald Trump's increasingly unpopular and unaffordable agenda, including the war in Iran? Well, they call the whole thing off. Last night, House Republicans scrapped the war powers vote. It was meant to force Donald Trump to withdraw from the war in Iran, or at least try to get approval from Congress for it. After, as the New York Times puts it, quote, it became clear they, the Republicans, lack the votes to defeat the measure.
Oh, and by the way, didn't Fetterman literally just vote against the war powers resolution that got to the Senate? Like, wasn't he like the deciding factor? Like, that's a Democrat. I'm like, so yeah, I mean, obviously, like, he's a Democrat. Like, he's basically just a zombie at this point, doing whatever his like Mossad handler is telling him to do. But still, like, he is a Democrat, so he should be, I guess what I'm saying is, like, it is like, I don't really think that the Democrats want to force an end to this war. I don't personally think that. Because I don't know. They see it as a win-win. If the war continues, here, I'll do this. If the war continues, then Donald Trump becomes less and less popular, right? Also, at the same time, if the war continues and it does, like, in their minds at least, destabilize Iran in some way, then, like, they are also, like, they get, like, kind of the best of both worlds. They get to not be associated with the war, but still have the war happen, which they, like, I think many of them think will probably be, like, good for Israel in the long run. So it's like they get to just, like, do, they get to, like, have their cake and eat it too. And so I think that, like, that's why I don't really think that they actually want to end this. If there ever is a war powers resolution that makes it through, or like that gets close, there will probably be a strategic amount of Democrats that will flip in order to stop it from passing, if I had to guess. I mean, this time it was Fetterman. But, like, if Fetterman got on board somehow, which he's not going to, but if Fetterman got on board somehow, like, let's say another Republican flipped to join the Democrats and pass it, then there would be another Democratic senator that comes out of the woodwork and bites the bullet in order to not pass it, in my opinion.
More from that report, quote, the decision to shelve the war powers resolution came after Republicans had lost control of the floor during an earlier unrelated vote, with several of their members defecting and several more absent. As the House chamber descended into chaos, leaders wary of risking another public defeat on a far more politically consequential vote abruptly scrapped the Iran war measure. We're back with Paul and Michael. This is perhaps one of the biggest political stories in the second Trump term, that Trump doesn't have the political juice to continue to wage war in Iran.
I think you're right. Pat Ryan's a friend of mine. And
he doesn't need political juice to wage war in Iran. He's we already determined the president can do whatever the fuck he wants. That's what we have allowed as a society to happen. Like, the president can just go to war indefinitely on his own accord with no oversight, and there's nothing we can do about it unless we hold him accountable, which I don't think is going to happen, man. So yeah, I mean, okay.
He speaks for so many people. He also is a West Point grad, a combat veteran. He represents West Point. It's in his congressional district. And he understands what he's talking about. And I think he's touching on something that a lot of Americans feel, especially veterans feel right now, that there's a generation of chicken hawks that are sending other people's kids to die all over again. And I think Iran has become a dividing point.
Is this a new phrase? Is this a new phrase they're coming up for these people? Chicken hawks? Is it good? Maybe. Like, chicken hawk, maybe that phrase has existed. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. I guess it could be good. I mean, these people are, like, a lot of them do avoid service and then go and send other people's children to war. Like that is a true thing to do, or that they do. So I mean, I guess it's a good name. I feel like there's a better name out there. I'll try and think of one.
Within the Republican Party, especially within the veterans and national security community, with people like in the manosphere, the podcasters like Joe Rogan and Sean Ryan. But I also want to say that
who are out.
They're done. They said, we're done. That's it. He said no regime change wars. And now Tulsi Gabbard's out, who her entire platform, she said no regime change wars more than any politician I've ever seen in the last 2 decades, right?
But it's J.D. Vance.
Yeah. And it's also Congress is also the dog chasing the car, because Iran's already underway. The question is, can they stop Cuba? Because he said Cuba's next. They're communicating it, like there's probably an over-under on the poly market now, whether he does.
Guess what? Same thing, same problem. Democrats want to go to war with Cuba. They do. A lot of them do. And they will not stop Donald Trump from doing so. By the way, like I said, it's illegal. It is illegal for the president, for the executive branch to unilaterally declare war. You can hold him accountable by throwing him in fucking jail when he does it. Like you can. That's like how it's supposed to work. When you break the law, you're supposed to be thrown in jail. However, they're not going to do that, obviously. But they're also, if it came up for a vote to stop going to war with Cuba, there would again be a strategic number of Democrats that will cross to align with the Republicans and allow the war to continue, because they also fundamentally want that war to happen in the same way that they wanted the war with Iran to happen. They might want that one even more, because they feel like there's a higher likelihood of success, whatever you deem that to be, in Cuba from like an imperialist capitalist perspective. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not a very hard prediction to make. I assure you, like if Kalshi doesn't have the odds like correct, like they will allow him to go to war with Cuba. They will, I promise you.
Said Cuba, because Iran's already underway. The question is, can they stop Cuba? Because he said Cuba's next. They're communicating it, like there's probably an over-under on the poly market now, whether he does it before or after July 4th. But they didn't stop him on Venezuela. They didn't stop him on Iran. They have an opportunity to stop him before he starts combat with a new country. And Cuba is that.
Again, Venezuela. They like that. The Democrats like what happened in Venezuela, man. I was watching all of the fucking corporate Democrats come out and be like, yes, he is a terrible leader, and we are happy that he has been arraigned and taken to our American prison system or whatever, to like face the whatever penalties they think that he deserves, like what's his name, Maduro, right? They were so happy about that, but then they said, but from a process perspective, he really should have gone through Congress first. Like that's what they said, right? So they also wanted that one, man. It's not like I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm just so doomer about the Democrats, but they haven't given me that much of a reason not to be doomer about them.
That dividing line. I think we have to try to push that to the forefront and see where Republicans stand on that, because in some ways Iran's already underway.
Well, the thing that people say, and they point to Indiana and they point to Cassidy and I guess Massey and say, well, he's still really powerful in the Republican Party. You can't say that without pointing out how small the Republican Party is right now. It's shrinking by the week.
Yeah, I think Massey's really, really important. I've been talking about this a lot this week. I mean, he just carved out a whole new lane for a presidential campaign just by running against Iran, against the tariffs, in favor of releasing the Epstein files, and against Trump. That's a presidential platform that's pretty popular.
In either party.
In either party, or no party at all. He could also run as an independent and galvanize a lot of people. And he's worked across the line with Ro Khanna and others. So something's happening here. Whether the movement is going to be within the Republican Party to challenge Trump and whoever his successor is if he leaves power, or to actually break away. And they're representing a majority of the country that is against all those things, but also doesn't want to go to the Democrats. 45%.
Dude, there's a lot of cope here, I think, from from these people. We are on MSDNC, I guess, so it makes sense. But the future, this is so much cope, dude. Okay, look, Trump and the Republicans are incredibly unpopular right now. They are. There is no denying that. I do think there's probably going to be some sort of bloodbath in November when it comes to the midterms. But it's going to be a short-lived bloodbath because I don't think the Democrats are fundamentally going to change things in a way that will make people materially think like there is a reason to continue supporting the Democrats. I think it will be a temporary wave. And maybe Trump will continue to govern so terribly and eviscerate the working class at such an unprecedented rate that that 2028 will be a Democratic bloodbath again. I can't say for sure. But the problem is that there will be new candidates by then. It won't be necessarily Trump. It will be somebody new. It'll be like Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or whoever the fuck, right? Who will be able to regalvanize the base of regalvanize the base of the party, the same base that is MAGA right now or whatever, but then also to pull back in. They can they will be able to grift through and pull back in all of those independents and moderate Republicans, kind of anathema, but whatever. I'll just use that terminology. They will be able to pull them back in by just saying, actually, Trump, he made a lot of mistakes. He said that he wasn't going to get into any foreign wars, and then he got into multiple foreign wars and did a bunch of war stuff. And me as I am a true isolationist. I promise you. This time we're being serious, and this time we are not going. We will do everything. We will truly, actually make America great again. This time, Donald Trump, he tried, and he was just corrupted by the deep state. But this time, let's say I'm me, Tucker Carlson. I am going to actually deliver for you the true end state of the MAGA movement. That's what's going to happen, and they will pull all of those same people right back in if the Democrats do not actually very quickly fix the material underlying conditions of the working class. I'm telling you, it will happen. They will flip all of these moderates and independents who are fleeing the Republican Party will flip right back as soon as their conditions do not improve under a Democrat presidency. That's just how it is. So, or a Democrat leadership, or if people just don't see their lives improving, that's why you need a Mamdani type who is out there showing what you can do with just the desire to actually help people. The desire, if you just have an actual desire to get things done for the working class, you can very easily become incredibly popular and actually have a mandate of a multi-decade mandate of people wanting you to be in charge, like they did with FDR, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I get really worried when people just think that we can rely on the unpopularity of the Republicans as an actual strategy. It's not a strategy. That's a lack of strategy. That really scares me when they talk like this, because this is, like I said, this is MSDNC. They're talking in the same way that all of the consultants behind the scenes in the Democratic Party are talking. So I don't know, not good.
Percent of the country is independent and unaffiliated, and they're looking for voices who represent that angry majority, especially on national security and regime change wars.
It's amazing how wide open this question of national security is right now, Michael Feinberg.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not quite as ready as you two to put up the bunting and celebrate at the Republicans' newfound discovery of integrity in the spine, because all we've got right now are, to use a word I hate, vibes. We don't have concrete actions. There haven't been votes on any of these things. There's been rhetorical pushbacks. There's been rumors leaking out of closed sessions. And when push comes to shove, the Republican voters have not supported the individuals who've pushed back. And the individuals who claim to push back, when the moment of crisis comes, don't. Mitch McConnell could have stopped all of this in that speech you played earlier. and didn't. So I'm not confident that Republicans are actually going to have the mettle to follow through on this.
I'm with you. I appreciate the
Duh.
gentle
What? Okay. Cool. I've never seen someone talk so like in such a serious cadence and say absolutely nothing. Like I was like, what? If I was like, when's he gonna get to the point? Like this is all just obvious knowledge. Like what's he trying to say, dude? I don't know. Okay, cool. I already gave you my analysis, man. They are not engendering much confidence in me. The Democrats are, I mean, or aren't. I don't trust them to be, to actually sincerely vote, or like to actually go out there and like have enough people to actually like vote to stop the war. Even if that vote did go through, I don't think that they would have the, the power or messaging to like capabilities to be able to impose that decision on the president, like through impeachment or whatever proceedings that would be, desired to do so. They just don't give me a lot of hope, to be honest.